Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. This is drawing a whimsical portrait. It's inspired by the art of Emma Patet, I think. This one ended up looking very much like the grandmother from Moana in the end, I think. There was something about her hair. I don't know what I did with her hair, but there was something about her hair. I managed to make her look really, really elderly and old. Probably need to put a few new wrinkles in the end product, but that's okay. I'm sort of starting off with a background. I chose this sort of tealy color, which again I think is where I'm getting the Moana vibes from, with the all about the water and the bubbles in the water in the background. But I'm starting out doing something I don't usually do, and that is color blocking my face to begin with. So instead of using a pencil to draw it out, I'm kind of thinking about where the face is, where the features of the face are, and using my knowledge of where the darks and lights should be and trying to block those colors in to begin with. And this was a real exercise in thinking for me, particularly because, again, I was going against what I tend to use to help me do that, which is using my primary like colors with my yellow, magenta and blue. So I'm using a pale peach color, a pink and an orangey yellow, which is the cheddar color. And once I've kind of blocked it in, then I'm going with a pencil, which is kind of my comfort zone somewhat. So you can see already one eyebrow is higher than the other, but we'll just go with it. I've got two similar-ish eye shapes. The good thing about it is it's all paint, so if it really doesn't work, I know I can go back and fix it up with different paint colors. But to be honest, I just went with it on this one. I kind of kept it the way I had it. Once I've sketched out where things are, now I'm going back in with a little bit of that paint to add in some of those lights and darks as needed. I like using my Stabilo Oil pencil because when I put paint over it, if I've got the Stabilo Oil pencil the wrong way, it's going to add an automatic shadow. Sorry, I'm mumbling my words here. To where it needs to be, so I can sort of blend it around and make it kind of work for me. It's all a bit loose and ready. The eyes are ridiculously large and they're too far up in the head. The rule of thumb is the top of your eyebrows should be at the top of your ears. So you can see I've way gone over that with what I've done on this page. My nose is about in the right place. It should be at the bottom of your ears, and my lips are roughly in the right place, but my eyes are a little bit too high up, but that's okay. You know, it's a whimsical portrait. You can get away with anything when you call it a whimsical portrait. Next, I'm going in with her hair, and again, I'm not sure what I did here, but I've just got a rectangle for hair. I think I'm channeling a bit of a Marge Simpson here, and I think this is where I get the Moana grandmother vibe from as well. She sort of had this curly-esque greyish hair happening, so she's got a bit of wisdom behind her, which I quite like. One of the things that did sort of help out with this a little bit was putting the eyes in as soon as I could, or putting more definition into the eyes as soon as I could. So just by putting the black pupils on the page, it gave me a little bit of grounding of where they should be on the page, or at least making the image look a little bit more human than that alien-esque orange blob that I had to begin with. I've also put in some colour into the pupils and the eyes, and I decided I would put some definition into her hair. Now her hair is not right, it's a load of lines. It shouldn't, for what I've got of her, it shouldn't be curving at the top in the middle where I've got it curving, but I do like the wispy-ish lines that come down onto her face, which at least give some semblance of her forehead shouldn't be as high as it is. So there's lots of things to think about as I'm creating this, but again, it all comes back to practice makes progress, and I know from how I draw portraits now to where I started from a long time ago. It has been a huge growth. The fact for this, I know the proportions are wrong in it and it doesn't quite work. It still looks human-esque. There's some statue to the hair, so I've got a bit of a beehive going on. I know I still need to work on it so it doesn't necessarily look rectangular, like a rectangle, trying to get my words out, but you know, it looks like hair in some form, shape. She could be swimming in a swimming pool and it's going in all directions. Who knows? So that's where this page kind of came from. There was a lot to it. I decided to get out my Stabilo woodies to add a little bit more texture into it. I find, particularly if I've started off with colour blocking my background, that adding some pencil over the top helps me get a little bit of control back in what I'm doing, or a little bit of looseness back in it, I suppose, and helps me balance it out somewhat. I also decided that I was going to put a quote on this. I don't know why I ended up putting it so far over to one side. It would have been better if I just shuffled it slightly, but that's okay. Again, going with the looseness, that's how I end up doing it. So I've used quite small lettering on this. This is actually quite a large, well, it's not a large journal, it's an A4 journal, and it's quite thick watercolor paper, which I don't, again, tend to put acrylics onto. So this is a huge learning process in lots of senses of the word. Using acrylics on proper pressed watercolor journal. It's not the cotton watercolor that I tend to use, it's actual proper watercolor paper. Color blocking, instead of doing a bit of a quick cheaty outline to begin with, just going straight in, and again, not going in with something watercolorish that I could remove, but going in with acrylic paints. But it says, if you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you'll be. If you're always trying to be perfect, you'll never know what it's going to end up with. And you know what? She kind of works. It looks a lot older and a lot off-kilter, but she could be raising her eyebrows to something she's seen that surprised her in the end. So I suppose the whole point of putting this out here is to show you that I am in no means good at drawing faces, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. And every time I practice drawing a face and put myself out there like that, I get a little bit better. So just have a go. It could be rubbish and you could still find something to like in it. And again, if you don't start, you're never going to get better at it. So here's your inspiration to begin. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.